She was always a lady. She was the black Audrey Hepburn to me.
She was just always so positive, and I love positivity.
We just laughed. She would always say, Juanita, I'm 5 minutes early and you always 5 minutes late.
What can you say about a woman born in 1931 whose favorite artists were Michael Jackson and Prince? Known as a social butterfly who loved to sing, this video is about the wonderful life of Georgie Dowdell. Born in the small town of Barlow, Florida, Georgie started her life in a way that would make her a stronger person against all odds. At the tender age of 4 years old, Georgie and her younger brother Martin Jr. lost their mother. However, as only God could do it, Georgie's dad, Martin, persevered and completed dental school to become the first African-American dentist in Tampa, Florida. Whereas Chicago eventually became Georgie's permanent home, she grew up in the Woodline area, graduated from Inglewood High School, and attended Fisk University in Nashville, Tennessee. During her formative years, while growing up on the block in Woodline, Georgie met Warren Dowdell, and their marriage conceived two lovely daughters into this world, Leslie and Tracy.
Of Miss Tracy Pitts, Georgie's youngest daughter. Someone once asked my mother, "What do you do when you are with your family?" She replied, "I laugh." My mommy, as I called her, loved laughter and was blessed with the most contagious laugh on the planet. When I was growing up, she always opened our house to Leslie and our friends. In grammar school, she would chaperone field trips, and while my friends loved her, they hated to see her coming on the field trips because she would jump into teacher mode. I always admired her sense of style. Her motto was less is more. She trusts me to always do the right thing.
Words from Georgie's daughter, Soror Reverend Leslie Dowdell Cannon. When I think of my mother, I credit her for introducing me to some of the joys of my life. There are so many things which were a part of her that are important to me. The church, my alma mater, and our sisterhood. Early in life, we were hanging out at museums, the Art Institute, trips downtown to shop, and the ballet. To be honest, we never encountered a dull moment with our mother. And of course, it was Mommy who told me about AKA while I was in high school. I knew nothing about fraternities and sororities, but when I graduated from high school, you can imagine all my gifts were wrapped in pink and green. While in college, in Nashville, Mom cautioned me to take time and get to know people in all the sororities. After I pledged, Mom and Dad came to Nashville during Hell Week and attended the Greek Step Show, and to my surprise, was waiting for me when I stepped onto the yard after crossing over. Then her time came to be initiated into our illustrious sisterhood in 1984. And what an honor to pin my own mother, who was on the first graduate line of Xi Nu Omega chapter. As I reflect on each and every day that passes, I miss my mother, confidant, soror, alum, and the best road dog ever. However, at the end of the day, I take comfort in the fact that we have so many good memories. Thank you, Xi Nu Omega, for your dedication and love to our Ivy beyond the wall.
Well, I'm like her third wheel. They called me 3D. At first, I didn't know what that meant. And one day, I called and her husband said, 3D is on the phone. I was like, is that a secret code or something? And they let me know that meant daughter number 3. She wasn't a person that you had to stroke her ego. She was behind the scenes. She was that person, if you needed 100 bags packed, Georgie was right there with that little ugly hat on, with her glasses, and packing that bag, and she would have that cackle and laugh the whole time and made everybody in the room happy.
A Chicago public school teacher, Georgie was known by her colleagues as a classy and outstanding educator.
I have known Georgie Dowdell for 35 years. We were both in a white environment.
Yes, ma'am.
I was the only black teacher at my school, and she was one of 3 at Pierce at that time. And you can imagine the conversations that we had.
We both attended Fisk University, and when I got back to Chicago, I hooked up with the Chicago alumni. Georgie was there. We just bonded right there. And from that point on, we got together and we just did things together.
She was also known as a sharp and eclectic soror of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Georgie loved her sorority and truly provided service to mankind since her initiation in 1984.
I met Georgie about 15 years ago, so actually I've known Soror Georgie my entire life cycle as an AKA. She was my harshest critic in private, but my biggest cheerleader in public. And so as we were preparing to initiate this line, Soror Georgie was on me. I want it done right. Make sure you do this. You got this checked right, Shimmy? And so at the end, when we completed the process, she had this picture frame made for me, and she said, the frame read, "Job well done, Soror Shimmy." And so I keep this on my desk because I wanted to make Soror Georgie proud, and apparently I made her proud because we had a very successful intake.
She was. She was just pleasant all of the time, and she made you feel welcome in whatever you were doing.
She told me that it was the service that really interested her and the class of the sorors in the sorority. Oh, she had a contagious laugh.
It wasn't a laugh, it was a cackle. And it was a high-pitched cackle that you could never, ever get out your head. She was a huge contributor to scholarships to send young people. She believed in helping young people. She believed in HBCUs. She would go out of her way to make sure a young person at Fisk got their tuition paid.
I'm supposed to fund the next generation. And so that meant so much to me. It's not some grand thing, or it's not a crown. This is what we're supposed to do, to be of service to all mankind.
Her love of life, her love of people, human, and her dedication to learning and education.
Georgia would want her sorors and anyone else to remember her as a warm, caring, kind-hearted person that tried to help others.
She would be remembered for being the good, and I would say Christian woman.
Soror Georgie truly epitomized the AKA song that is so richly stated. I think that I shall never know a love that thrilled Georgie so, a love that dwelt in her heart by day, by night, as did her love for AKA.